Well, indigenous on one side is very important in that we all do come from the ground, and that's what indigenous means. But in modern society, we start having this new international sense of community, and we forget about our bases. Um, when we talk about travel, we travel to connect with each other. And there are so many different societies, and we tend to drop a few sometimes. In my experience in Taiwan, for example, we do forget about the indigenous culture. And because of that, there is a movement in the last 100 years to try to bring that to the fore. For myself, let me share about how I came into this. Okay.
Sure, please.
So there was this Global Insight conference by PATA in New Zealand. I believe it's in about 5 years ago or 7 years ago. And I was the only Taiwanese delegate to go. It was very far. Yet in the conference, they talked about Taiwan 3 times. And it was because of indigenous culture. Just to recap a little bit for people that may not know, Taiwan was actually well known as the motherland for the Austronesian and Micronesian, Polynesian people that spread up across the Pacific, all the way from Madagascar, Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, and Guam as well. So this interconnectedness was not just in our modern times. It's important that we not forget about these marginalized cultures. We can learn so much about them, and also at the same time with travel, it enriches the experience. We travel to see different attractions, monuments, but it's really about people. And how can you forget about that side, especially when they are already connected to you? And that's what I learned when I was at the New Zealand Global Insight. Recently, regarding indigenous culture in Taiwan, it's something that I try to also inform in my works as well. In the latest Yamagata Kaku onsen hotel I have in Jiaoxi, it was based in the lands of the Kavalan people. Most people in Taiwan don't know much about them except for that the name is used for the Kavalan whiskey. Well, what happened was about 250 years ago, the Kavalan people were moved south about 3 hours by car to closer to Hualien and Taidong. Today, there's only 2 settlements there, and I think there's only about a couple thousand of the Kavalan people left. So what does that have to do with us today? Well, it could just be added color to make a tourism project a little bit more interesting. But I like to think of it as something that could be addressed and understood today. It's not a very happy history. So it's not something that you want to go too deep into if you're talking about hospitality. But I think that it could inform you, just to let you know a little bit more about a different culture, and that we are all connected. Today, we're using the waters that perhaps the Kavalan tribe bathed in or drank 200 some years ago. This is a cycle that we are always continually going through. The water going up into the mountains, evaporating into the sky, and then coming down as rain. These things, it's a circle of life. And when we travel, even if it's just to our backyards, it's something that we should always remember, our connection to the land, going back to the whole idea of what indigenous means. And I think that it's even more important today because we are always so disconnected in our digital worlds. You call it a ditouzu, where you're just always connected and with your head down, looking at your iPhones. So this materiality of being connected to the ground is something that is worth remembering, especially when we go through hospitality or travel, and just remembering that we're in this physical space.